January 19th, 2024. We had a fender bender that turned out to be much, much worse. The insurance declared it a total loss. We disassembled the camper into a rental truck and removed the additions we had time to do. And started over with a new van. The new van already had factory installed wall liner and carpet, and it got totaled. So here we are, building a new van. We took out the carpet as a template for a new flooring, and we built up the floor with insulation and a subfloor. We installed a 3D printed fitting for the shore power and prepared to install insulation. We removed the walls to run shore power wiring and install sound deadening. Well, here's a day's work. Have this up, have the first unistrut attached, which took a little grinding and drilling. Now we're ready to go over on the passenger side and do some work there. One of the last things we're doing with the side insulation is getting the doors off and these dust covers and put the insulation inside the wall. One of the problems here is it's probably only about 5 degrees Celsius today, and so these adhesive on here is very stiff. So these are pre-cut panels that we got in a kit. Of course, we have things in here. So this one's going to be a little different to get in. You're going to have to cut to get it around there. And feed this in. So we don't need to glue these in because they're held by the structure pretty well. So we're going to have to cut a slot in here and bring it in quite a ways. Okay, what we have to do is cut this completely so we can get these pieces in. They just don't go around the corners like they should. And it's time to put the cover back on. Exactly where it was. We have cover, all these pins that just snap in. Guide pins snaps.
Okay, and this is the middle.
Yep. So our next step after getting insulation in is getting ready to put up the ceiling. And what we have is these riv nuts. So I've drilled these holes here that were existing out to 11 millimeters. And we are going to seat these. I'll seat it in there. So those are riv nuts, so we'll be able to bolt our unistrut channels to the ceiling. Taking clues from YouTube builds, we installed front-to-back furring strips in the ceiling to hold the plywood ceiling held up by riv nuts in the ribs. The electrical controls now go over the sliding door to use all available space. Well, here we are a few weeks later. We've got some furring strips put up on the ceiling and the front panel put in. Have a three-way switch on the lights, so it can go either way. And now we're about to fit the center part in here. And as with everything, it's a measure, cut, fit, trim, measure again, and there we go. So we'll let you follow this as we go. This has been a real kind of hurry up and try to get this done, but do it right. So it's been slow and not without a few fits and starts to make sure everything fits. So we're going to get this up and do a fitting. Okay, we have a pretty good fit, except that this end didn't line up exactly, and then we have to work on getting these bolts lined up and the wires where they belong. So that's going to have to move. But everything else lines up. So I have to trim the front corner, and there we have it, all in place, all screwed in, bolts through, ready to finish the last one. We've built our vans mostly with hand tools, old ones from my father and new ones as I need them. I elected to go lightweight with this build, with a lot of 1x2s and thin plywood for the overhead storage cabinets, which we built to fit these cloth and wire storage cubes. The last bit of insulation needed to be fitted to the lower half of the sliding door before we put in the kitchen, which will extend into the door area. This one required cutting up the panel to fit around the ribs in the door. The passenger side wall is built up with cabinets for which I made paneled doors. With most of the cabinetry frames in place, we took a few days off for a camping trip to eastern Washington. On this build, we moved the tandem bicycle outside to concentrate on living space in the van. Well, since our accident in January at the height of the winter camping season, it's been a real whirlwind effort to build a new van. Project wasn't far enough along to catch the end of the winter camping season, and it's been a real crunch to get it ready for summer. So it's now early August, and we're going to wrap up this video with a tour of the progress so far. We have a few things left, some drawers and a little touch-up paint, but that's where we're getting. So we're going to start up front with the new swivel seat, which we had put in at an outfitter's rather than do it ourselves in the wintertime. And this one's a little easier than the other one. It doesn't require us to open the doors. It's offset and it doesn't lock in place, but there it is. And Judy's made a little saddlebag here to hold our necessities, and it works pretty well so far. And we'll hit our head on the so we're going to start our tour on the driver's side, and the first thing is our electrical cabinet, which is a lot smaller than the old cabinet that was here. And we have our coffee mess up on the top, because that's the first thing we get into when we're on tour. And inside we have our Rockpel's solar battery unit with our little clock, a few hooks to hang things on, and that's our auxiliary battery storage. And then we're going to get in below for the electrical cabinet, and this is just a hatch, it's not hinged, so we don't get in here very often. So inside is our DC-DC converter, which is new, and underneath that is the shore power charger for the battery, and we have our AGM battery in the bottom, and coiled up is our solar panel extension cable, and we have two solar panels in an enclosure, and on the other side our 12-volt DC fuse block and shore power connector and our circuit breaker panel. So moving back on the driver's side yet, we have our toilet box, which holds our litter box, compact litter box style, and we have storage underneath, and our cushions, and we have the bed that has taken us through 3 vans now, but we've done recovered the mattresses and added a memory foam pad that goes over the top, and we have our bolsters, wedge bolsters, to make it into a comfortable sofa. And overhead we have our bicycle kits, laundry bin, and our individual clothing, and in the back our toiletry and shower supplies. And underneath we have our reading lights for the sofa, and we've added partitions in the back to make a headboard and a closet, a little headboard on the sliding part of the bed, and a 3-way switch for the overhead lights, which we have another switch up front to switch them on and off. And in the back we have our bike panniers hanging on racks in one side of the closet, and coat hangers on the other side of the closet, and other storage. And underneath the bed, we have more storage now. We have our bicycle accessories, and we have storage for pots and pans right now, and extra food like canned goods. And moving over to the other side, we have at the top our Max Air fan, which is now automatic, which we turn it to manual at night because this green light is very bright. So on the other side, we have 3 more storage units, which are dishes and food storage. And in the back is our bug screens for the sliding door and for our umbrella. And in the back is a closet, which now contains our trekking poles, extra supplies, our market umbrella, tent, and our lawn chairs, and hooks to hang more things, and that's become very handy. And next, moving back, we have the base for our umbrella underneath and lagoon table storage, which we're going to eventually have a panel here and a place to plug in the lagoon table. And up overhead, we have our bedding storage with pillows and sleeping bag. And we're going to have more storage underneath. There's going to be a drawer in there. And moving down into the next area, the kitchen area, we have our kitchen counter with a sink, and underneath a foot pump, and we're going to add drawers in here and doors on the front and storage inside. We have our butane stove here underneath the sink, and on this side, hinged up, we have our 12-volt refrigerator, and that's raised up, and there'll be more storage down below with another drawer and a little slide out panel there. And of course, we have lights up underneath, and we have our shore power plug here, and we have another one behind the refrigerator to run that on shore power when needed. And inside here is we have 5-gallon water storage and a gray water tank, and of course the mixer and the pump. And up on top we have our switch panel. We have the switches for the overhead lights. The front light is switchable between, it comes on when the doors open, and we can also turn it on separately becomes a reader for the front table. And here we have our DC. We have a power switch that controls the power for the satellite radio, and which comes on. And we have satellite radio with the amplifier and speakers up top,
which an incredibly important value for Americans. And so understanding what the stakes are,
which we haven't, we just put in yesterday, and haven't decided whether to finish this or not. The cabinet for that is made from the piece that came out of the sink. And next to it we have the satellite radio, and we have a little night light that's convenient for night, that's on the solar panel controller. And then we have the solar panel connectors are in this pocket here that we can plug in the solar panels and hang them on the outside of the van. And then we have a privacy curtain, which is a blackout curtain, and we have a clip on the door that covers that up at night. The last thing to show inside is the lagoon table, which makes a little table and a desk for the swivel front seat, which is very convenient, and it swivels out of the way if we want to move around inside the van. And the last thing we have to show on here is the water exchange cabinet, where we can get at the at both water containers to empty out the water and refill. And of course we have the step that we recovered from the old van, and we'll show the aluminum that we put down to protect the insulation and subfloor. And the difference in this one, in the back we have the bicycle mounted on the outside. So on this one bike rack that is for tandems, and that's worked pretty well. We've taken the bike with us several times now, and it's fairly easy to get it on and off once we adjust it. So that's the new van, and we're about ready to go. Have a couple drawers and some finishing touches, and we've been out camping, and we'll keep you updated on any changes, because there will always be changes. See you next time.